in the water. Oh.
Hey guys, it's the Gamer Untamed. It is really hot in Australia right now. It's 40 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit for you Americans. And yes, I'm wearing sunglasses on my head indoors. That is because I'm using them as a headband. Whoa, new style. No, I'm just kidding. So I just finished playing through episode 1 of The Walking Dead season 2. And it is really good. I figured that they might stuff it up a little bit because it's the second round and I didn't quite know where they could go with it. But I was really happy with the way they went and I could actually feel for what was going on. Also, look at this. Natural growth right there. The camera is a little fuzzy, but look at that. Such longness. Whoa. No, I'm sorry, that's weird. And I was really happy with how it went, and I'm really happy that Clementine is the main character because I love Clementine. She was like one of my favorite characters from season 1, and with her continuing her path, it shows how she grows and matures as a character, which is really interesting to see because of how long after the game is progressing through. So as we already know, I'm just going to say right now, I'm going to make this as spoiler free as possible. It's kind of hard because it is one episode and it's hard to do that when you're only reviewing one section of an entire game rather than reviewing one game at the end. But I'm going to try and make this as spoiler free as possible so that I don't spoil anything for you guys, but I will be commenting on a few things. I will let you know if it's a spoiler or not before I say it. So, episode 1 is called All That Remains, and it starts off, this is not a spoiler, it starts off with, previewing what you had encountered in the last game. If you've played, obviously you import your save file, so you pick your save file, blah blah blah, and what happens is that it goes through all of the, not all of the decisions, but the main decisions that you made and events that occurred in season 1. And then it starts off with Clementine. And as we know, Telltale love to make interactive adventure games, and of course this is not a shortage here. It's exactly the same. The gameplay is the same, the graphics are the same, everything is the same, but what you see is a difference in storyline is the main difference. So what is expected in this episode 1 is fantastic comical graphics, which are still the same sketchy as they were last time, and of course you can you have a few of the same characters that do feature in season 1, and obviously their progression does show as soon as the game starts properly. Then of course you've got amazing voice acting done for all of the characters, which is done to the T. It's fantastic. The voices are so on par. I actually feel like they're proper actors voicing these characters and they're really not shying away from anything, which is fantastic. So Telltale does prioritize themselves in making every story they do as well as they can. I was going to try and use a different adjective there, but didn't really come out. So, it's still got the point and click formula. It's still the same. It's like in 400 Days. They changed the gameplay up a little bit where you are more, take more control in the gameplay. So, for example, if you move out of the way of a zombie, you still press a key. It's still point and click. You have to dodge out of the way. It's sort of the same way they did with The Wolf Among Us, which is a lot of dodging and stuff. So they've incorporated that from a little bit in 400 Days, then a lot in The Wolf Among Us, and now here. So they've really upped the gameplay for a point and click. I'm sorry I'm using my hands like crazy. Also, look at this. That's so cute. That's me and my friend. She gave it to me for Christmas. It's us in wigs because we're awesome. But the gameplay is still centered around having it be a point and click, and it's obviously not going to change because it is an adventure game, and when you have an adventure game, you're not going to expect anything too out there and a high-techy whatever. It's not going to be like that. But you still enjoy, you know, the prompts on screen, the information where you can sort of take out the prompts as well in the settings. You still have, you know, you're going to make the decisions, do things quickly, when you still have the chat bars. Everything is still the same. They've just taken a bit more they've just taken it to a more interactive level, so they can incorporate you as the player into the game far better than they did last time. So this is not a spoiler. We know that Clementine is the main character for this new story. It starts off with her continuing on her story from last time. When she's still a little girl, she's still young, she's still, you know, she's still got that immaturity, she's still, you know, trying her hardest to fit in a world where you really can't fit in, where you really don't know anybody, and she's just like that one girl who's not by herself, but, you know, there aren't girls like her out there. I mean, in season 1, you just had Duck, and they were the only kids. And in season 2, it's really hard to find anybody that is not an adult, and she has to grow up in this adult world where, you know, she's got to make adult decisions, and she's growing even from as soon as you start. You see the growth she's already been through, and it doesn't tell you how long after it's been since Lee's death as soon as it starts, but you can tell that she has grown up a little bit, and things definitely has grown up by the scene and how things have changed. And it's really just like that sort of start. We just like put you in the scene, and they're just like, oh my god, and then you're just like, oh crap. But seriously, there's not flashbacks, but there's a lot of skipping forward in this first episode, which puts you into a situation where you've got to sort of just reel back a little bit and watch what's being unfolded before you. But Clementine is really struggling in this first episode. It's really depicting her sorrow and her missing of Lee, and a lot of the characters that were in it. She's reminiscing over what had happened in season 1, so she's thinking about Lee. She's always thinking about Lee. She's always reminiscing over Lee. She never reminisces over her parents. That's one thing I think is a interesting thing to note, is because she's not thinking about her parents. She's thinking about Lee and what he did for her, because her parents weren't there for her in a situation where, you know, it was life or death. And she's, you know, growing up in this world where she has to take a stand, and she has to be a bigger person on the outside and in the inside. So she's only small, but she's got that really big nature. So she's really just learning to survive when everyone is dying. Everyone's dead around her, and she's like, why has everyone left me? Why am I just on my own in this world? This isn't a spoiler. I'm not telling you if she's actually on her own. I'm just telling you how she's feeling in a situation where she really is just, in her mind, she's by herself, and she's got no one that she can really count on, because before, the only person she could count on was Lee, and she's lost that. So she's definitely dealing with that. In this episode, you can see a whole new range of Clementine. She's grown up. I'm not telling you how much she's grown up, but it is a certain months later, which means she could be a year older, but you can really tell how much bigger she is. Her voice is deeper, her voice has changed, her attitude is very different than what it was last time. She's introduced to a whole lot of new people, good and bad, and people that come across as they would be good people, but then maybe they're not, or maybe they are, maybe they're kind of flip-flopping, maybe they're just really cautious. I mean, everyone's cautious in this world because they're not really sure of who they can trust. And Clementine's just thinking, you know what, I'm not gonna lie. She's going through this world, she's telling the truth every step of the way. I mean, obviously it's your decision. I'm making my Clementine be an honest character. But Clementine's always sort of has the honest comments, and she's always sort of, what I love about her dialogue that you can choose from is that they can be really ballsy options, because she's sort of that tomboy who really doesn't care what you think of her. She's just there because it's showing her personal growth. She's there to show her personal growth and to show how she's changed, because she wasn't the main character in the series last time. Now it's really just taking that and showing how she's progressed, and that she can do everything that an adult can do rather than what other kids would be doing. She's on her own. She has to do it herself. She's been taught to handle a gun, to be able to stitch, to be able to tend to a fire, and other kids probably don't know how to do that. So she's got that upper hand there. Blah, blah, blah. You can probably tell that I really don't want to give too much away, because I've looked at reviews online and they're actually giving complete spoilers away, and I'm like, God, guys, come on, you want to hold a little bit back. So I am not going to tell you anything about the specific storyline. I'm just going to tell you that it is full of a lot of sorrow. There is a lot of scenes where you're introduced to new people. There's a whole new situation. There are obviously new environments to explore, and obviously it's a very linear game still. But you know, what I really loved about this episode, what I really actually enjoyed was, of course, the graphics and that. I've always loved that idea of them. I love the dialogue. The dialogue's very good. Sometimes I think, you know, maybe they should keep the bar a little longer, so you can actually, sometimes they have longer descriptions, but they've kept it quite short, and then they just drag it on from that. That's one thing I don't like about these dialogue options, is that you pick one and then they say something completely different, which is one thing that kind of frustrates me a little bit. But they're very good dialogue options. Everything is done extremely well. Props to Telltale. What else did I like? I have to say there wasn't much humor, obviously, in this, because in a world where everything's sort of down in the dumps and you're just like, oh shit, I might die tomorrow. God, guys, there's a zombie in front of me. Yeah, I can't really laugh at that. Although when you're like me and you're sitting back and you're just like, you think sometimes they're chained, the arms there, and you're like, I'm still scared. But then it's just like, you're chained. They're not gonna get you unless you stick your fist or hand in their mouth, you idiot. Calm the shit down. Sometimes it's a little ridiculous how far away they keep. Because it's just like, they're not gonna get you if you're like all the way over here. Obviously that's not correct, because if you were this far apart, you're gonna be freaked out and they're gonna grab you. But still, if they're on one side of the room and you're on the other, they don't run in this game, so you're fine. Just walk away. They're not that fast. Unless you're playing State of Decay, they're not gonna run after you. OG, bro. OG. Anyway, what else do I love? I love the way the story's taken its turn, obviously, which you will definitely get to find out as you play the game. But I would just prepare you that it's very sort of it's not heartbreaking what you see. It's definitely heart-wrenching, but you understand that some of these things that Clementine has to do has to be done for her protection and for her safety and to keep her alive. And a lot of the decisions you will be like, what the hell are you doing? Oh my god, you'll get really into it because you'll be disagreeing with one person, agreeing with the other. And that's what Walking Dead's really about, is having you make these difficult decisions that really impact later on. They're really good at doing that, having decisions that actually impact on the game. Rather than when people say, oh yeah, we've got decisions, they will make a large difference. No, they don't. You get the same ending. A lot of people don't get the same ending for these games, which is fantastic. Obviously, yeah, Lee has to die in the first one. But a lot of the things on the way make differences. So, for example, if you choose this character over this character, and that's still in here, I won't deny, you have to choose characters over other characters. And if you pick one character, you're going to go somewhere else for a little bit. And if you pick the other character, you're going to go somewhere else, but you're obviously going to meet up. So just adding extra scenes and taking away some, and it's good. What I didn't like, I didn't like some of the scavenging that you got to do in this game was a little pointless, and I thought it was a little stupid. There was one scene where you meet an animal. And this is not really a spoiler, but it ends up being a really pointless meeting because it just turns into chaos. But then again, it's a defining point for the rest of the episode. But I just still thought the way it was done was a little bit pointless, and it didn't really need to be there. It could have been done in a different way. What else didn't I like? Obviously, sometimes still the controls are a little stuffy, in a way that if you're walking downstairs, right, and you want to go this way. If you press the wrong button, you have to go do it all over again. And they take 100 years walking up and down the stairs. They really just like to take their time. And it's like, if you're sneaking around, you think you may take a little bit quicker. Just a little bit. You don't want to go, I mean, actually, no, that's a stupid thing. You want to take slowly when you're sneaking around. But I made a mistake, people. I want to have the opportunity to go back down more quicker than, yeah. That's one thing that bugs me. If you make a mistake, well, you're kind of screwed. You can't really go back and do it again. So they're kind of unforgiving with stairs or going in the wrong direction. You're really just stuffed there. Obviously, there are quite a few zombies in the start, but that sort of drags on a little bit, and it's more about character development, which I really like. But there aren't many downfalls for this game, which I'm really proud of them to do. There really isn't downfalls. You know, the first episode, All That Remains, is exceptional in its exploration for characters. Obviously not in scenery. There's a lot of walking, and it drags on quite a little bit, but it's important, I think, because it shows what's happening, because it's got to reconnect you to the world of The Walking Dead. But it's mainly just showing Clementine's independence and how she's grown up to be this, you know, she's really not a young woman yet, but she's ahead of her time, because she's in a world where she's with adults, and it really just shows it's a really independent thing, and how she can resolve things that adults can also resolve, and some that are, you know, she can do things on her own far better than adults can. So I think is a really good part about The Walking Dead. So obviously I'm giving this episode props, because it's really just showing how far characters can come, and you know, it's a really good game. I mean, it wasn't like the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed, but I loved Walking Dead. I could sit there for hours playing it. But obviously it's one thing you play once and you've got to play it through, and then you do it again if you want to, but definitely a game you have to play. I mean, if you've played season 1, you've got to play it again. I would give this game an 9 out of 10. I always buy games that I can give high ratings to, because what's the point in playing crappy games for? I mean, I played Mars Warlogs and that was shit. I could have given that like a 4. And I wasn't gonna review that. It was that bad. It was that bad I didn't want to touch it again. Anyway, I hope you liked my little review and discussion, but I do want to make this too long because it's just one episode. So I hope you liked it. I will be doing a discussion about genetic engineering and modification and the future of technology soon as an in-depth topic, and also incorporating the game Deus Ex into there, because that's one huge part of it all. Yep. Yeah, so I hope you like this video. Please give it a like, thumb me. Please comment what you think, and if you're gonna go and buy this game if you haven't. If you're not, please let me know why, and I will talk you out of it. Also, please subscribe. That'd be just dandy. And I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day and enjoy your cold weather in America, because here it's bloody boiling hot. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.
This is not a home in water. Oh, yeah, I hope here's never found. Just try and keep your way in water. Oh, against the time struggle.